You're not welcome, leave. That was Claire's dad, Jack. A big man with stiff handshakes and softer threats when he drank. He stood at the edge of their long-ass gravel driveway in Dayton, arms crossed over his ugly holiday sweater. For a second, I thought he was joking. I even smirked. "Come on, Jack," I said, shifting my weight, trying to peer past him. "Claire forgot to tell you I was coming?" "No. She didn't forget. She told us not to expect you." His voice didn't waver. It had the kind of certainty you hear in courtrooms and executions. "Just go, Ryan." Inside, through the dining room window, I caught a glimpse, and it stabbed harder than anything he said. Claire. Laughing. That crooked smile I used to love. Her sister, Mia, raising a wine glass. And beside them, one chair too close, was Brandon. Her ex. The guy she once said was a mistake from college and barely qualified to bag groceries, let alone be a man. He was there. And I wasn't. They were laughing. At me. Something in my chest twisted, but I didn't blow up. Not yet. I just nodded, hands trembling around the wheel as I reversed out of that hellhole driveway. Gravel crunched like bones under the tires. I didn't call Claire. I didn't text. I called Mike. My best friend since junior high. The guy who once broke his arm jumping off a shed just because I said, "Bet you won't." "Mike." "It's happening," I said, calmly, too calmly. There was a pause. He heard it in my voice. "Where are you?" he asked. "You sound like you just watched your house burn down." "Worse," I said. "Claire invited her ex to Thanksgiving. Her entire family's in on it. They told me not to come." "What?" "Yeah." I'm staring at her, laughing with him. Like I'm already a memory. Mike didn't need more details. He didn't ask permission. Be there in 20. And 20 minutes later, all hell broke loose. I didn't storm the house. I didn't yell. I didn't throw rocks at windows or start swinging like some drama in a bad TV show. I parked across the street, engine humming low, and waited. Then Mike's car screeched around the corner like the start of a bar fight. And when he stepped out, he had receipts. Literal ones. He walked up to my window, holding a thick envelope. "Found these under her seat last week when she asked me to grab her charger. Didn't tell you then. Didn't want to believe it either." I flipped through the photos inside like I was thumbing a cursed photo album. Claire and Brandon. Same hoodie. Same week. Same hotel room. Again. And again. And again. There were timestamps. Charges to our joint account. Same nights she told me she was working late or staying with Mia. Bitch didn't even cover her tracks. Or maybe she didn't care. That night? It cracked something open in me. Not just pain. Not even rage. Clarity. I called her. One ring. She picked up, casual as a cloudless sky. "Hey, babe. What's up? Aren't you heading to your mom's?" "I see you," I cut in. Through the window. With Brandon. "Nice sweater, by the way. He pick it out for you?" Silence. Dead, humming silence. Then, "You're being dramatic." That's all she said. Not sorry. Not wait, let me explain. Just that arrogant, smug tone she always got when she knew she had the upper hand. That tone that said, "I win." But this time, she didn't. Because I wasn't coming to fight. I was coming for the truth. After that Thanksgiving driveway ambush, I spent the next few days tracing back every lie Claire ever told me. And when I say tracing, I mean full detective mode, call logs, old receipts, credit card statements, even phone backups. Not out of obsession. Out of self-defense. You don't see the rot while you're standing in the middle of the tree. But when you step back, Jesus, it's everywhere. Let me take you back. To 3 months ago. That was the first time I actually felt something was off. We were supposed to go to her cousin's wedding in Cincinnati. She bailed last minute. Stomach bug, she said. Don't want to ruin the car ride for you. I went solo. Called to check on her halfway there. She didn't pick up. When she did call back, it was with loud background music. She claimed it was some old Grey's Anatomy episode. But the voice I heard in the background? Deep. Male. Laughing. I didn't press. Why? Because I trusted her. Like an idiot. Next week she suddenly got into yoga. Said it helped her center her stress. Bought new mats. Leggings. A month-long gym membership she never used before. The gym was across town, in a part of the city she hated driving to. But suddenly she was obsessed. Funny thing? I checked that gym's online reviews last week. Know who works there part-time as a fitness consultant? Brandon. The mistake from college. The guy who smelled like Axe body spray and unpaid child support. You ever sit back and feel your own past slap you in the face? That's what it was like. Every day I replayed memories, and every day another truth cracked through. That weird month she kept her phone on airplane mode while detoxing from social media. That last-minute conference trip where she came back with a sunburn even though it was supposed to be in Detroit. That moment she started sleeping in sports bras and wanted space at night for her sleep tracker. A sleep tracker. Yeah, okay. Here's what gets me most. She wasn't even smart about it. She just knew I wouldn't look. Wouldn't ask. Wouldn't doubt her. Because Claire had built her disguise perfectly over time, like a slow burn. She used to say all the right things. You're the only man who ever made me feel safe. You're not like the rest. I'd never cheat. That's what trashy girls do. She weaponized my trust. And once you realize the truth, you start seeing things you missed in real time. Like the way she started changing her passwords. Or the fact that she began showering the second she came home, even if she just stopped by Target. Like how our dog, Millie, used to jump all over her when she got home, but then suddenly started growling at her. Dogs know. They always know. The sick part? I still wanted it to be some misunderstanding. I wanted to find a hole in the story that proved me wrong. That would have been better than accepting she'd turned into this manipulative, disrespectful, lying monster I barely recognized. But there was no hole. Just more dirt. And all of it pointed to the truth. Claire wasn't unhappy. She was just dirty. A damn coward who didn't have the guts to tell me I'd been replaced. She chose to laugh at the table with her ex and throw her marriage in the trash like it was a takeout box. That's when something snapped in me, not rage, but a new kind of silence. Cold. Focused. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to take everything she thought she had control over, and flip the script. Next step. The confrontation. And let me tell you. She never saw it coming. 3 days after Thanksgiving, I walked into our house like a ghost returning to his own murder scene. Claire was in the kitchen, sipping oat milk from a wine glass like she was starring in some Pinterest fantasy. She didn't hear me at first, had her AirPods in, music low, just enough for her to hum some fake little melody while scrolling Instagram. I didn't say a word. Just stood there. She finally noticed when Millie barked. Our dog had been cold to her for weeks, which was a red flag I should have read sooner. This time, though, Millie didn't bark to greet her. She barked at her. Deep, guttural. Like even she had had enough. Claire turned, startled, and when her eyes met mine, she froze. "Ryan?" she said, like she didn't expect me to exist in our own home anymore. "I thought you were staying at your mom's another night." "Yeah," I said. "You thought a lot of things." I dropped the envelope on the counter, photos, printouts, GPS pings. Every receipt for every lie. I watched her eyes skim the top photo, then dart to the next like she was flipping through a burning diary. Still, she kept her cool. She was always good at lying, but now she was trained. Probably had a whole library of excuses rehearsed. She set the wine glass down and gave this little sigh. Like I was the one being overdramatic. "Okay, Ryan. Just, slow down. You're blowing this out of proportion." "Proportion? You've been screwing Brandon. 4 months. On our dime. You lied to my face. Lied to my family. And then sat there on Thanksgiving with him, while your whole family watched me get kicked out like some stray." She leaned against the counter. Arms crossed. "It wasn't like that." "What was it like, then?" I snapped. "Was it an accident you ended up in a hotel 3 times in 1 week with your mistake from college? Was it an accident you took him to the same Italian restaurant we used to go to for anniversaries?" She paused. Just for a breath. A blink. And then that coldness came in again, her defense system. "You were distant," she said. "You were always working. You stopped complimenting me. You made everything about you, Ryan." I didn't feel seen. I actually laughed. Not a ha-ha funny laugh. The kind of laugh you let out when the world's gone upside down and you've run out of shock. "So you weren't seen, so you just opened your legs for someone who texts in emojis and can't spell restaurant?" Her face hardened, but she didn't deny it. That's when I knew. She wasn't sorry. Not even a little bit. She wasn't caught, she was exposed. And the difference was everything. "I was bored," she finally said, shrugging. "You wanted the house, the routine, the dog, the bills. I didn't sign up to live like a retiree at 32. "Then leave," I said quietly. "Go be exciting somewhere else." But she didn't move. She stared, arms still crossed, like this was some power standoff she could still win. "You're not kicking me out of my house, Ryan." That's when I smiled. A calm, cold smile. "Oh no," I said. "I'm not kicking you out." I turned, walked into the living room, and held up a document. Her name. My lawyer's name. Everything ready to file. "You're divorcing yourself." She froze. I had packed her bags already. I'd taken half the rent from our account. Frozen the cards. And Millie's leash? Already in my hand. I walked out without waiting for her to say a word. Let her sit in the mess she made. Because sometimes the best revenge is peace. The silence after I left wasn't peace. It was surgical. I didn't text Claire. Didn't answer her calls. Didn't even check my voicemail. I needed her to feel it, to sit in the vacuum where I used to be. No backup plan. No emotional punching bag. Just the consequences and a wide-open void. She called 23 times in the first 24 hours. The first few were angry. The rest? Dripping with false concern. "Ryan, you're being immature. Can we just talk like adults? I didn't mean for it to happen this way." And finally, "I still love you." Love? That's rich coming from someone who traded in real loyalty for late-night motel nonsense with a walking midlife crisis. I stayed at Mike's place for a few days. He didn't ask questions. Just handed me a cold beer and a blanket, said, "Guest room's yours. And if you need me to help toss her stuff on the lawn, just say the word." The only thing I needed was time, to plan the next steps and let her world catch up to the explosion. It happened faster than I expected. 3 days later, I got a call from Claire's sister, Mia. We'd always been cool, close, even. She was the one person in Claire's circle who never drank the Kool-Aid. Ryan, her voice was tight. I could tell she was pacing. What the hell is going on? Claire is telling everyone you just snapped and ran off with the dog. She said you're having a breakdown. I almost choked on my coffee. Of course. Classic Claire, burn down the house, then point at the smoke and scream, help. Look what he did. She's lying, I said calmly. I caught her cheating. I showed her proof. And I walked. Mia went quiet. Then, very quietly, with Brandon? Bingo. That was the breaking point. Turns out Claire's entire family knew Brandon was hanging around again, but she sold them some line about him being just a friend helping her through stress. Claire is a manipulator, Mia said. But damn, Ryan, this is low even for her. By the end of the week, the truth leaked. Claire's mom called me crying. Her dad didn't even try to play tough guy, he just muttered, I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know. Didn't matter. I didn't need their apologies. I just wanted out. Clean and clear. Claire, meanwhile, spiraled. She sent me long emails, dramatic texts, even an actual handwritten letter. She alternated between fake sweet and full rage. One message said she missed my smell. The next said I was an emotionally unavailable man-child who ruined her life. I guess when you burn bridges, you lose track of the direction you're screaming in. She tried to come to my work once. Walked into the parking lot in sunglasses and tears, sobbing like some sad Netflix character. HR had to escort her out. I didn't react. That was the final straw for her. She went nuclear on social media, painted me as a villain who ghosted his wife for no reason and kidnapped their dog. Had the nerve to post a black and white photo of us from 3 years ago with the caption, "He promised forever." Some men lie with vows. The comments were mixed. Some of her fake deep friends bought it. Others started asking real questions. Mia even dropped a comment under one post. Claire. Tell the whole story. Or delete this. That shut her up, for a day. By the end of the week, her lie bubble burst. Nobody was buying it anymore. Brandon? Disappeared the second the drama got public. Probably crawled back to whatever bar he slithered out of. Claire was left alone. Exposed. Exactly where she deserved to be. And me? I was just getting started. The morning of the lawyer meeting, I woke up to sunlight cutting through Mike's guest room window and Millie curled up against my leg like she knew, today's the day. The final shift. No more limbo, no more pretending. Just a clean break. I buttoned up a shirt I hadn't worn in months, not for style but for armor. I didn't want to walk into that office looking like someone whose world had fallen apart, even if, inside, it still kind of had. The attorney was a woman named Karen Winters. Sharp, calm, and not one for small talk. I read everything you emailed me, she said as I sat down. From the photos to the financial documents. We're not just dealing with infidelity here, Ryan, we're dealing with someone who's reckless and entitled. That plays in our favor. Good, I said. Because I don't want revenge. I want freedom. Karen nodded like she heard that sentence too many times a week. Let's talk strategy. In less than an hour, she had a plan. I'd keep the dog. The house would be sold, proceeds split. Joint accounts? Closed. Personal items? A scheduled date to collect, with a witness present. Claire would be served the following Monday. You're going to want to be ready for fallout, Karen said. People like her don't go quietly. Oh, I know, I muttered. I left her office with a new kind of silence in my head. Not the numb kind. Not the screaming kind. Just, steady. For the first time in weeks, my heart didn't feel like it was being chewed from the inside. That evening, Claire texted again. Just one line. So you're really doing this? No punctuation. No apology. No emotion. I didn't reply. 3 hours later, she sent another. You're destroying everything for one mistake. One mistake. As if months of lies, hidden motel meetups, gaslighting, and betrayal could be bundled into a tidy little oops. Still, I said nothing. By Saturday night, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. It was Brandon. His voice was slurred. Yo, man. I didn't mean for it to go like this. Claire told me you guys were on a break, bro. Like, she said you were basically done and she just hadn't told you yet. I wouldn't have touched her otherwise. I didn't even listen to the end. Deleted it. That guy didn't matter. He was just the symptom. Claire was the disease. On Sunday, I met Mia at the house so I could gather my things. Claire was told to be gone by noon. She didn't argue. Mia stood in the doorway with her arms folded. She tried to make me take her side, she said bitterly. Said you were always too cold. Too serious. That you didn't get her spirit. Her spirit? I snorted. What is she now, a yoga guru / professional liar? Mia half laughed, half sighed. Honestly? I don't even think she knows who she is. But you do. And I hope you never let her make you doubt that again. I packed fast. Just essentials. A few shirts, some framed photos I wanted to burn later, and a book Claire once gave me with a note inside. I read it one last time before tossing it into the trash. To forever, because I finally found my always. Claire. Forever lasted 4 years. Always turned out to be a Tuesday night at a budget inn. When I walked out that door, I didn't look back. Not once. She had her chaos. She could keep it. And me? I had a lawyer, a dog, and a damn spine again. People think the worst part of betrayal is the moment you find out. The shock, the anger, the heartbreak. That first emotional punch in the gut. They're wrong. The worst part comes later, when the adrenaline fades. When your body stops reacting like it's in a war zone. When you're not being served documents or packing boxes or fielding pity calls from family. It's the silence after the storm. That's when the wall comes down. For me, it hit around 2 in the morning, a week after Claire had been served. Millie was asleep by the couch, and I was staring at an old movie on mute, didn't even realize I'd been sitting there for hours, just watching people pretend their lives made sense. And then out of nowhere, I cracked. No sobbing. No shouting. I just sank. Like my body finally got the message, you're alone now. This is real. I thought I was prepared for it. I wasn't. You don't live with someone for years, build routines, buy groceries together, share inside jokes, and then just switch it off. Even if they treated you like trash at the end. Even if they made a fool out of you. The heart doesn't work like a lawyer. It doesn't just file things away and move on. That night, I found myself flipping through old photos on my phone. Bad idea. There we were at the lake house, faces glowing with summer and alcohol. There she was, asleep on my chest in some Airbnb in Asheville. Me cooking while she danced barefoot in the kitchen. Stupid little memories. So soft, so fake now. And yet, they still hurt. Because I didn't just lose her. I lost the version of her I believed in. That's what most people don't talk about. When you're betrayed like that, it's not just the person who cheats that disappears, it's the entire past. It's like someone lit fire to the history you built and then dared you to keep breathing through the smoke. I kept thinking about all the things I ignored. How she used to mock people who stayed in boring marriages. How she always needed drama, needed to feel wanted. How she flirted in front of me sometimes and laughed it off with, "It's harmless, babe." I let it slide. Over and over. Because I was in love. And love makes fools out of smart men. I called Mike around 3 a.m. Didn't expect him to answer, but he did. "You good?" he asked, voice groggy. "Yeah, I lied. Just, couldn't sleep." He didn't press. Just said, "Come by tomorrow." I got steaks and whiskey. No talk about Claire. Just, normality. And somehow, that helped. Just knowing someone remembered me, not just the train wreck of my marriage. The next day, I wrote down everything I was feeling. I didn't plan to keep it. But it poured out. The confusion. The hate. The weird guilt that still hovered even though I'd done nothing wrong. The tiny parts of me that still wanted to rewind time and fix something that couldn't be saved. I wrote. She didn't break me. But she cracked something open. Something I didn't want to see. And maybe that's the only good part of this mess, the clarity. Claire was a bitch, sure. A manipulative, selfish, cold-hearted woman who lit a match under everything we built. But I let myself fade in that relationship too. I bent to keep her comfortable. I shrunk to avoid the fights. I believed the lies because they were easier than the truth. Not anymore. That wall came down, yeah. And it hurt like hell. But underneath? There was still me. And I was still standing. Just when I thought the story was over, Claire played one last game. It was a Tuesday, 2 weeks post-service. I'd settled into a quiet rhythm at Mike's place, wake up early, take Millie for a walk, work, eat, and keep my phone on silent. Peace, at last, in small doses. That morning, I got a message from an unknown number. It was a picture. No text. Just an image of her in a sundress, standing on the edge of a pier, some place we'd vacationed once. Her hair blowing in the wind. Dreamy. Intentional. I stared at it for a solid minute, trying to decide what the hell she was trying to do. Remind me of the good times? Tug on nostalgia? Pretend she was still that woman? 5 minutes later, the number called. I declined it. Then came the voicemail. "Hey. I don't know if you saw the photo. I was just thinking about that trip. You looked so happy. We both were. I know things got messy, but I miss you. And Millie. I miss waking up with you. Can we please just talk? Please." I stared at the phone like it was a bomb ticking on the table. She had some nerve. After the lies, the laughter behind my back, the gaslighting, the motel receipts, the smug look on Thanksgiving when I was told to leave, and now she wanted to play the "but remember our memories" card? I didn't respond. 2 days passed. Then the real stunt dropped. I came back from the gym to find Claire sitting on the front steps of Mike's place, sunglasses on, phone in hand, legs crossed like she owned the damn porch. Mike's roommate Kyle was standing in the doorway, clearly caught in a hostage situation he didn't sign up for. "She's been here for 30 minutes, he whispered when I walked up. "Told her you weren't home. She said she'd wait." I took a deep breath, clipped Millie's leash tight, and stepped forward. "Claire," I said flatly. She took off her glasses. Eyes already glossy. "Ryan, please. Just give me 5 minutes. No yelling. Just, talk to me. You lost the right to 5 minutes a long time ago." "I know," she said. "I was a disaster. I messed up. I was selfish. But I swear I wasn't trying to replace you. Brandon was nothing. That lit me up. You didn't replace me. You erased me. She looked like she was about to cry. I almost believed it, until I remembered every time she lied right to my face without a single crack. This isn't about missing me, Claire, I continued. You missed the version of yourself you got to be when I was still buying the act. She blinked. That landed. Ryan, I'm not asking to undo anything. I just want to start fresh. Fresh? You want to start fresh? I laughed bitterly. You burned the house down and now want to plant flowers in the ashes. No. You don't get to hit reset because you're lonely and the guy you risked everything for ghosted you. She looked away. There it was. The truth. Brandon was gone. Of course he was. That kind of guy always bails when the drama turns real. You don't love me, I said. You loved that I loved you. You loved the control. You loved the safety net. She wiped her face but didn't speak. Go home, Claire. Not to our home. Not anymore. She stood slowly. Her voice came out small. I don't know who I am without you. I stared at her for a moment, then gave a soft, cruel truth. You'll figure it out. Alone. She walked away. No final scene. No dramatic turn. And just like that, her last game ended in silence. It's strange, what sticks with you after the dust settles? It's not the betrayal, not even the arguments or the long nights spent staring at the ceiling wondering how someone who claimed to love you could so effortlessly twist the knife. No, what lingers is the clarity. When Claire finally walked away from Mike's front porch, I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel powerful or cold or even angry anymore. What I felt was done. Not getting there. Not still healing. Just done. And in its own quiet way, that was the most powerful feeling I'd had in years. For the first time in forever, I could breathe without the weight of someone else's lies clogging my lungs. Divorce papers were filed. She didn't contest anything. I think even she realized she'd drained every last card from the deck. She didn't even try to fight for Millie. Probably figured a leash and unconditional love weren't part of her brand of freedom. In the weeks that followed, I moved into a new place, small, clean, quiet. Just me and Millie. No memory-soaked furniture, no fake laughter bouncing off the walls, no shadows of whispered phone calls in the next room. Just peace. It wasn't happiness yet. But it was peace. And that's a start. I started going back to the gym regularly. Cooking actual meals instead of frozen crap. Reading books that had been sitting untouched for years on a dusty shelf. I even took a weekend trip up north, just me and Millie, hiked a little, wrote in a journal, fell asleep under the sound of rain against a cabin roof. Funny how it takes complete collapse to remember who you were before you compromised yourself into pieces. Claire, from what I heard through the grapevine, tried to bounce back. Some vague social media posts about self-love and new beginnings, which we all know is just code for, I blew up my life but still need validation. She posted a few thirst traps, tagged some mysterious guys, and even started a short-lived podcast about healing after toxic relationships. I didn't listen to a single second. I didn't need to. Let her reinvent herself 100 times. Let her chase butterflies in empty fields and call it transformation. That's not my story anymore. You know what people don't tell you about surviving something like this? It changes your standards. Not just for relationships, but for everything. Your time. Your peace. Your patience. Your boundaries. I used to believe love meant never giving up. That if someone broke, you stayed and helped them rebuild. Now I know that sometimes walking away is love. Love for yourself. Claire taught me something. Not the lesson she intended, but a powerful one all the same. She taught me that people who lie with ease will also love with conditions. That you can give someone your loyalty, your heart, your name, and still be treated like a placeholder. She taught me to trust my gut. To listen when my peace gets interrupted. To never beg someone to choose me. Not again. So if you're reading this, sitting in your own storm, wondering if you're overreacting, if maybe you should give them one more chance. Don't. If they wanted to keep you, they wouldn't make you question whether you were wanted in the first place. Walk away. Burn the blueprint. And build again, this time with both eyes open. Because sometimes, the fire doesn't destroy you. Sometimes it just clears the land. So you can finally grow something real. And that's exactly what I plan to do. Thanks for nothing, Claire. You gave me hell. And somehow, I came out clean.